Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Cut Different. Hashtag Cut Different on all streaming platforms and all social media networks. Is that how I'm supposed to say it? It don't matter. You ain't supposed to talk until I introduce you,
Well,
man.
I'm talking now.
I was talking to myself.
Well, I'm talking now.
Well, you might as well introduce yourself.
Well, what's up, world? Y'all know it's your boy Ty. I'm back for
Like
another.
Freaky Ty from the Lost Boys?
Man, you know, Ty, Freaky Ty, Ty Dog, you know, all the ties, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I appreciate being back again one more time. It's always a pleasure and it's an honor.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad you came in with me today. We got some interesting things happening, but first off, it feels like, you know, ever since COVID started, a little pandemic, or plandemic, some people call it. Sometimes I think about some of the shows we recorded. It's been a whole bunch of RIPs. You know, we've all lost somebody. Kango Kid passed away. That's why I brought it up. And if you're not familiar with Kango Kid, that's UTFO.
Okay.
Roxanne.
Okay, I remember that track. I mean? I'm not really familiar with the artist per se, but I did see.
Well, I'm older than you, so I'm more familiar with that brand of music. I'm real hip hop.
Oh, so you old school hip hop, like Grandmaster Flash and all that.
Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah,
the message changed my life. Yeah. The video sucked.
Yeah, the video sucks. I can't run the time. I was more into like KRS-One and
that's the same breed.
Yeah, but that was more. I guess that was kind of more a little seasonal in it. I'm an '80s baby,
man. Yeah. UTFO. I think their first time I heard them, probably I was a kid. It's probably around, listening to my uncle music when he was in high school.
Yeah.
It's about 84, 85, 86.
Right. Now I was a big Public Enemy fan though. I always
because of who?
Flavor Flav.
Yeah,
it was Flavor Flav, man, because it was the clock and stuff. But I also like the way that they presented themselves, man. It was a rawness, I didn't have that mental capability at the time as a kid to kind of understand it, but now looking back, I like the boldness, the rawness.
Hip hop was black.
It was very black back in the day.
Yeah, it was black, and it was always about, it was always some type of message in every song of like, us. Restoration, hope.
And unity,
party.
Man. Unity, man. That was the number one thing was unity, man. And I used to love the colors, man. You remember the color outfits, man? Yeah, man.
Red, black, and green, and yellow.
Yeah, man. I loved it, man. And, that was a deep message, man, when you look back on it, what they were trying to imply.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, man, how times has changed.
Yes. Yeah. Look, I think COVID got him. If it didn't get him, it got another member of that time. I think it was Maz. I think he's in the hospital now fighting COVID. You want to send a prayer out to him. Keep fighting, brother.
Yeah.
And to the family of Kango Kid and all of them. I lost my friend. I lost my father. We've all lost somebody.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And prayers out to everybody. This world need a healing right now, especially. It's almost like when the amount of deaths that we are encountering right now reminds me of like early 90s when there was a bunch of drive-bys.
Yeah,
it's so many casualties right now.
Yeah. And I think it's a good time too for togetherness too, because there's a lot of people out there who got situations where, man, they struggling, man, based upon employment and a number of other variables, man, or even them having to work and maybe not having a babysitter when children are being released or not able to go to school because of COVID protocols. You know what I'm saying? So, I would say that there's family members that are able to help your other family members as far as assisting them or being there. Then please do it, man, because this is a time right now where, especially, I don't care, and I'm a firm believer that you're not supposed to live this life alone.
Nope.
And you have people that you're supposed to have in your corner to help you. You don't abuse it, of course, but y'all gotta help each other. It takes a village.
Yeah. All islands look deserted. Mm-hmm. All islands. You've never been to like an island that you picture in your mind that is like it's just beautiful all over it. Nope.
Right.
There's a lot of areas of it look deserted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unmanned.
Right.
And that's sometimes we can create that for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Being an island.
Absolutely. I've been guilty of it.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of it.
Yeah.
It's because of pride and ego. You know, you don't want to accept help from others. You know what I'm saying? You want to try to figure it out, but you ain't got to. Why you want to make your life hard?
And it ain't just about help. You know, everybody don't need you to do something for them. You may be the one that's just in need of that interaction, that socializing. You know, we all need that.
Absolutely.
You know, as soon as we experience that, everybody can attest to this. When they let us off of quarantine, people was hugging so tight.
Family members was coming back together. Yeah, man. Cause you support it, man.
Yeah.
It's support it,
Start talking to people you ain't never had a conversation with in your family.
You know, even though I don't celebrate Christmas or anything like that, I can imagine that by the people that's gonna be around each other because they would never see each other last year.
You don't celebrate Christmas?
No, I don't.
You ain't got no tree or nothing. Huh? No toy or nothing. No lollipop, peppermints or nothing.
No.
You just bah humbug. Huh?
It's
not even that.
It's just another day.
Yeah.
You know, but hey, to each his own.
And that's what we was trying to include last time when the producer didn't hit the button.
We ain't gonna say who did it. I ain't gonna point any elbows at anybody.
Don't point at me. But anyway, yeah, the fact that we're I guess from the inside looking out, I can say that I feel like we don't do that enough. You know, we let our differences, our political differences, our religion, our income brackets separate us so much.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing about me and you that says that we can't sit down and have a conversation even if we do believe or worship differently or however we are as men. There's always difference. Even if you believe the same thing, y'all not the same.
You're not the same. If that was the case, then everybody would govern themselves the same, especially if you go to a church.
Yeah.
Everybody would have the same identity, the same personality, but at the end of the day, everybody their own individual.
Seasoning salt. God knew what he was doing. You know, you can't just put salt in the pot of greens.
Nah,
you gotta put other stuff.
You gotta put some other thing. You gotta dock that thing up. Yeah.
Yeah, you need other things on the plate. Also, even when you finish with the greens, you got to do something with the rice, the macaroni and cheese, you know, your meat, whatever meat choice you have. Everybody might not want fried chicken. Some people might want fried fish with their green. You know what I mean? It's just differences.
The main thing is you want to make sure that whatever the dishes that you have, they complement each other.
And we all do. We just don't know it.
We don't.
It's everything that's different about us make us the same. It makes us human. It makes us. There's a necessity for each other. You know what I mean? Like where I'm strong at, you might be weak at. Where I'm weak at, you might be strong at. You know what I mean? And it's important that we open ourselves up enough to appreciate the differences.
Yeah, and that's what
instead of defending and weaponizing them.
Right, because that's where the growth comes from. And we can grow from each other based upon what in this area I see that you excel in. Yeah. And I've struggled based upon X, Y, and Z, man. Is there any way that you can kind of enlighten me or help me to understand why is that you do the things you do versus the way I do it? So that may give me that enlightened moment to be able to say, you know what, I see the error in what I'm doing and change that behavior, right? Yeah. And vice versa. But you will never know that if you're not humble enough, if you don't have the ability to remove your pride and your ego from the side,
or it's just accepting. And that's a lesson in itself. Accepting and understanding.
Yeah, being real with yourself.
When you have different types of people in your life, that makes you more accepting to everybody. You know what I mean? That opens you up to the fact that everybody is not like you.
And everybody ain't gonna be you. But the thing is I tell people all the time, especially in relationships, man, like relationships like as far as boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, that people have to be able to deal with each other's imperfections.
You see that line they created when you...
I seen it, man. It was a deep line. It was a very deep line. But that's the real talk. Think about it, though. None of us is perfect, and we have to be real with ourselves with that, right? And you have to ask yourself, whoever the person is willing to deal with you, can they deal with your imperfections and vice versa?
Right.
Because it's some things that you may do may drive a person crazy.
Yeah.
To a point where this is a deal breaker. We've seen this all the time. When we've seen people to get in other relationships where they exhibit the same things or same, struggles that they had in their previous relationship, and to that new relationship may be okay. It may not be a deal breaker. It may be something that, okay, I don't see really it being a big deal. However, I'm willing to work with you. So it just, but again, people have to be real with themselves.
Yeah. And I never wanted to really stamp on that topic as it pertains to relationships. I always touch on it.
Right.
But, man, what the hell?
What?
That's I've always said in the background of our shows that one of my biggest concerns is black women. That's a huge concern for me because of the disconnect that they have and the ability they have to ruin relationships.
Some can.
And I'm not saying all, but a lot of them, the approach to relationships is just terrible. The approach, like, you're not listening to what's being said to you. You're listening with your mouth. You only want to respond to what's being said. You're not open to understanding where the person, where the man is coming from. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with differences in your relationships, when you're dealing with issues in a relationship, or you're just dealing with like the good part of relationships, like the happy part. Like a lot of people don't do happy well.
A lot of people don't even try to create happy, period, in a relationship.
I think if you relax, you don't have to try to create that. I don't wake up and have to attempt to make myself feel okay today. I'm good.
Right. But when I say that, meaning that you're trying not to do things based upon your behavior that's going to contribute to arguments and disagreements based upon things that's not even relevant. Yeah. Making the small thing turn the small thing into a big thing. Yeah. Wanting to nitpick about everything, that can become a problem. And I think that I think that just shows that when people are trying to listen based upon as a rebuttal, meaning to figure out a way to rebuttal what you're saying, the communication is already messed up to begin with. When you're bringing things to the table, I'm a firm believer that it's supposed to be based upon two individuals coming to the table to have an understanding of, hey, this is what you feel, this is how I feel, and us figuring out what can we do to make sure that we don't have this issue occur again or occur as often, right? And I think that's very pivotal. I think that's a situation I think that both men and women definitely need to focus on in order to, I think that will save a lot of relationships.
Everybody's trying to orchestrate a relationship.
Everybody's trying to man the relationship. Debo, be dominant in the relationship. Yeah. Someone has to be submissive in the relationship. That is a fact. And if you think that it's not, then you prove to me and show me when it is not. That's not just
in a relationship, being submitting.
Submitting, yes, you have to be submissive to an extent. And I think the problem is people now are so,
and we both do.
Yeah, to a degree, but the problem is most people are not willing to do it. One may be willing to do it, the other one may not.
Yeah, you weak.
And if you're weak, or you feel like that person got control over you, or you not being yourself, and this is things that you see based upon.
That's it right there.
What?
That's what I hear a lot of women say. And I'm starting to hear guys say it. We'll get to that because some of y'all out here living foul, man. Some of y'all are starting to sound like women, and not that it's not okay to be in touch with your emotions, but I always felt like it was a way a man can express things and still keep his masculinity. You know what I mean? And what I see now, I see a lot of guys digressing in that area. You know what I mean? They wimping out in that area. And a lot of women, when they come across guys like us, they don't know how to handle it because they're used to, now they're getting more used to guys that are docile and timid and afraid to speak when they need to.
Yeah, you know? And that ain't gonna do nothing but create a problem. And at the end of the day, regardless of how, based upon the situations I've been in, the relationships that I've been in my life, that the moment that you become docile, become lackadaisical, timid, however you want to put it, you start to lose a woman start to look at you differently.
Yeah, she don't want to be with her. She want to be with you.
Because at the end of the day, regardless of how much a person may complain about it, at the end of the day, they respect you more if you speak your mind, you stand on your truth.
Yeah.
And if you're a man that does not exhibit that type of behavior, then I based upon what I've seen a lot of unsuccessful relationships based upon that. You have to be real with yourself. Of course, go about it respectfully, but you have to still stand on your truth and be real with yourself and understand and let it be known that I can't accept this and I won't accept this. And if that means that you walking out the door is for you is what you have to do, then so be it. But you have to be firm and stand on your truth and not be timid. That timid behavior crap, I have not seen any positive results of a person who exhibit that as far as gaining the success and the things that they're desiring out of a relationship. Right. I've never seen it. Have you?
No, I've seen a lot of long marriages that way. Is that person happy? No.
Thank you. That's what. So we ain't talking about quantity. We're talking about quality.
Yeah.
So are they happy? Are they getting what they need? Are they feeling that the relationship that they're involved in is it being fulfilled based upon the needs and desires that they're wanting?
You're gonna need some type of substitute.
Oh, I'm just asking though. But the point, like you said that they've been married for a long time, but they're not happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that, man.
Some of them okay with that.
That's some of it is okay. I'm not saying it all like that, but majority based on what you've seen, what have you seen?
Huh? I think it always needs to be balanced. Not too. Oh, before I get my point, before I forget my point, the whole losing myself thing.
Okay.
Everybody's trying to protect themselves, and I mostly hear it from women like you don't want to get involved with somebody and lose yourself. Like that's part of being if two becomes one. Whatever you were the day before you fell in love, got committed to somebody, got married, whatever that was prior to that, that's what it was. Now you have to accept this new life. That doesn't mean that your individual interests have to go away. But yes, you're gonna lose you.
But now you ain't gotta
lose you.
But you ain't gotta lose you though. You want to tell the reason why?
See, that's if you're looking at it from their perspective, the people that are defending it. You don't lose it. Being one with somebody else enhances you.
You have to be comfortable with your own skin. That's really what it boils down to. Think about it. If you compromise for someone in a relationship, that doesn't mean that you're losing who you are as a person, G. You're compromising.
I don't worry about that.
But I'm just using that as an example.
I would love to take a break from me.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? Facts. But you have to be comfortable in your own skin where you don't have those thoughts that circulate in your mind that because you're giving or you're compromising, that means that you feel like you're losing yourself. That's bullshit.
That's what they mean by it, though.
But that's bullshit.
Like, dude, you're not going to be the same person forever. You're going to evolve.
This
relationship is going to help you evolve in areas that you wouldn't do on your own.
Regardless if it work or don't.
Yeah.
It's a matter of perspective, isn't it?
Yeah. And the perspective that makes people say that or worry about that or feel in danger of losing themselves, I just go ahead and say it plainly. That to me that says that you're gonna get in. You're gonna be a couple, but you want to be single at the same time.
That ain't gonna work.
You can't be that no more.
It's not about just you no more.
No.
It's not about you. And I tell people all the time, and this is my thing. I'm glad you said that. Thank you. And this is for anybody. This is for men and women. If you are a selfish individual, all you worry about is yourself and what you get out of it and yourself being and not worry about the other person, be by yourself.
How you usually do things.
How you usually do things, what you used to do, and you're not an open-minded person of being able to see both sides, do everybody a favor. Be by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I said it. And the reason why, because all you're going to do, if this is for both men and women, if you exhibit that type of behavior, all you're going to do is hurt people and cause pain and stress and all kinds of negative things based upon that type of logic. Mm-hmm. It does not work. In order for you to have a successful relationship, it cannot be just about you.
Nope. It can't. And a lot of people's approach to it is, I feel like some people are in the same relationship. Whatever their first relationship was that didn't work out, they move from person to person trying to sustain whatever the point was they were trying to make in that first one, whatever things they were trying to get situated for themselves in that first one. They keep trying to carry that same energy. Right. And you're never going to get that growth that you need. You're never going to evolve in that area until you accept the differences of the other person. Y'all didn't grow up in the same house. Y'all didn't grow up on the same side of town.
Different backgrounds,
different parents.
Different experiences in life.
Different experiences. You have to accept the other person. Don't walk in the door criticizing them, talking down to them and trying to make them conform to how you feel. The fantasy. I'll tell you about my first marriage. I had Huxtable, Dr. Huxtable on my mind. I wanted my life to reflect what I learned about healthy relationships. And at the time, the only thing I really had digested was what I saw on TV.
So Cosby Show, that was a really black influence. That was really the only black influence show that was out. Besides that, and then Family Matters. And I think that was it.
What I was discounting was I wasn't Dr. Huxtable, and she wasn't Claire. You know what I mean?
Because unfortunately, there's not a lot of Claires.
And it was a TV show. You know, I was discounting all that, but I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to create whatever fantasy I had in my mind about marriage. I was trying to make my wife be whatever meet my fantasy. And that's impossible.
It's impossible
for someone to do. And I had to apologize to her, you know, when I grew up, to let her know that I was wrong. That wasn't you. That was me. And if anything really tore us apart, it was the fact that I wouldn't let go of my fantasy. I had to kill the fantasy so that I can have a healthy relationship with anybody.
But not even just that, but you have to be real, too, because you have to accept people for who they are. You have to be real. One thing I learned, and it's funny, and it goes into what you just said. People going to be who they are.
It wasn't about that.
But even from a different standpoint, from a different angle, I feel what you're saying. But people gonna be who they are.
Yeah,
you can't force a person to change. Can you not?
It wasn't about changing. It was that I was trying to fulfill my fantasy
by you changing that individual.
No.
But hold on, hear what I'm saying.
It wasn't about changing her. It was about making her clear.
But how can you make someone be a person unless you're expecting change?
Well, see, my idea when you go into marriage is that everybody, no matter what we were before, this is how you are when you're married. So it's changed to some extent, but you're going in a different direction.
I feel where you're coming from. Go ahead, I'm listening. I'm going to elaborate more.
Don't.
Okay,
then
elaborate more. Okay, then elaborate more because you...
It's the fantasy. Change is what we were discussing previously. Now, this right here, the fantasy of the thing was I wanted her to be that. She had to be that, and I had to be him.
Can I ask you a question then? So that'll help me to understand what you're saying. So when you had conversations with her, what was the conversations was based upon the fact of
I was disappointed.
You was disappointed because you was complaining about the things that she was not exhibiting based upon the fantasy that you seen from Claire Huxtable. Is that correct? Right. Okay, so meaning that when you was complaining about it,
I see where you're going.
Okay, so thank you. Then so if you're complaining about it, so thank you.
I don't like your shirt.
No, I don't care. But it goes back to what I'm saying.
Like your shirt. Your shirt ugly.
Right? You see, hey, people, you see what he's trying to do because he understands the picture I'm about to paint. It goes back to what I'm saying. You went and you express to her the things in which you're wanting her to exhibit based upon the fantasy that you've seen from the show. And so if you...
And not just that show. I don't want to make it seem like it was just that. But things like that.
The things like that as far as the image that was portrayed that Claire exhibit based upon how she carried herself, how she was with the family, etc. Right?
And what I was used to, my experiences, and what corrections I wanted to make in all the relationships I saw growing up. I wanted her to exemplify.
Thank you. So you brought it to her attention because you wanted her to display and exemplify the things in which you've seen. You want her to change. Thank you. So in order for her to be able to do that,
I want her to change into my family.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
I still hate your shirt.
I don't give it. But it's changed. And that's where you have to be real with yourself and say, hey, and it's the hardest thing to do, man, is to accept people for who they are. Yeah. Because, to say the reason why, because at that point, it puts the accountability, it takes the accountability off yourself, but you're trying to change them, but now it's on them.
You know what I had to do, though?
It's on them.
You know what I had to do?
What?
It wasn't that I needed to kill my fantasy of Claire Huxtable. That helped me most get to where I am today.
What's that?
I had to clear my and using the same show as an example, I had to kill Huxtable, Dr. Huxtable. I had to kill Bill Cosby. I had to kill that.
Not literally, guys. Not literally.
No. He alive and well, but I had to kill that part of myself. It wasn't that I needed to accept her the way she was. I needed to accept me. I needed to be okay with how I was and what I experienced and what I truly wanted. I didn't want what they had. But I was trying to force this fantasy into my life.
You thought that was the right thing to do.
I thought that's the only way to have a successful relationship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanted that. Going against what I truly wanted inside.
Yeah.
I know watching that TV show, I didn't see them have intimate conversations. You know what I mean? I want that. I want my wife to be my friend. I
Real
want
talk.
that to be the homie.
The homie, the fam.
Yeah. I want that to be somebody I can say anything to, I can have any kind of argument with or disagreement with, and we still okay with each other.
Yeah, man, and that's how it's supposed to be, man.
And that fantasy didn't provide that for me.
Yeah, man. And it ain't going. And I think that that comes with growth, man. Like you said, you was real with yourself. You got to be real with yourself and ask, what is it that I want? What is it that I need that's going to make G feel? That's going to make Ty feel that whatever it is that I'm asking, I'm feeling like I'm getting it. That's going to make me feel like I have companionship or I have a marriage or a successful marriage. You know what I'm saying? Again, guys, that's why I tell people I'm a firm believer. Anybody who you with, at the end of the day, the only thing you do is bring up and mention the things that you want and what you have and that you desire and that you need for your relationship to be complete and go from there. I tell people all the time, be who you are. I can't change you. I don't want you to be a robot. I don't want to control you. You feel me? Right. I want you to be who you are. Because at the end of the day, the only change that's going to happen is based upon that person seeing that they need to change, not based upon you telling them. Right. Think about that for a second. If it was that easy, then how many times as kids that we could listen to our parents and they said something the first time, we'll do it.
But all your adjustments don't come by way of them changing. Sometimes you have to.
That's true. Change start with inside. That's correct.
Yeah. You don't. Every problem or every difference or every issue you have in a relationship doesn't necessarily mean your partner needs to change. It may mean that you need to accept.
That could be, and that's true too, and that's true, and that goes down to what I'm saying. You can't change. You got to accept them for who they are.
And keeping up with a fantasy, that shit make you work hard.
It makes you work
hard. I was
hard.
working 12, 15, hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, trying to make sure I was doing what I thought men were supposed to do in a marriage, and I had a partner. You know what I mean? I had a partner, and I forgot I had a partner. I thought I had to be in control of everything. I thought I had to be a part of everything in a relationship. But what sense is it me having you, and I got to do everything? I got to run this household by myself. I got to wash the clothes. I got to cook. If I ain't cooking, I got to make sure you're cooking what I want to cook. And you know what I mean? Not giving you no choices at all.
Yeah, man.
So you have to leave space. That's why I say when people thinking about when you got this thing, or I don't want to call it a fantasy, when you got this idea of what a relationship is going to be like and what kind of marriage you want ultimately, you have to leave space for this other person. Mm-hmm. You can't just you can't say, well, some people do it with a house. I'm gonna buy a house in this neighborhood. Whatever wife I marry, she gonna want a house in this neighborhood. You gotta accept that she might come in or he might come in and say, well, I don't want to live there.
You gotta be real. You gotta be real.
I don't want to live
there. And I've seen that happen. And I've seen shit pop off because of that.
Yeah. And now you don't want to let go of the house. What you already done built for your blood, sweat, and tears done went into this house. You don't want to let it go because that's you. You're letting go you. You letting go, you scared to let go of that part when you're not accepting the fact that now that you're a couple. Now that you're one, you want to be able to leave room and you want to give them a choice also. Say, hey, you know what? We can sell this house and go get another house.
Say that again, man. Because at the end of the day, if we sell one of these houses, it's going back. It's going back to the house.
Yeah,
it's going back to it. We both benefit from it if we got that type of relationship.
What Luther Vandross said.
What?
A house ain't.
A house is not a home. A house is not a home. Man,
if both of us ain't in that damn thing,
I'm trying to tell you, and
that's what makes it our home. Us. Just like a church, a mosque, a temple, anything you go to, Jehovah Hall, it ain't nothing without the people.
And that's what, and you say that again, man. Say that one more time. Say it again.
I don't know what I said.
You said it ain't nothing without the people.
It ain't nothing without, yeah.
It's nothing without the people.
Yeah. No matter what you dealing with, it ain't nothing without you. We put too much focus on
Materialistic.
on the material things.
Oh my God.
And idealisms of how things supposed to look and how things supposed to be. There is nothing on this earth that can't be replaced other than us. When you gone, when she gone, you can't get another them. That's it.
That person gave you that unique experience.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. And I think that people have to, like you said, they have to stop putting the materialistic value so high and putting your marriage or your relationship or the quality of your relationship at the bottom of the priority of the totem pole. That's bullcrap. If people had a mentality of being like, I'm going to do whatever is necessary to make sure the relationship we have not only is maintained, but we grow from it, the dynamics would be different. But people are always thinking about what's in it for me, what I get out of it. I don't want to give up this. I don't want to give up that. If this person who you with has given you the things in which you've been yearning and asking for years, mm-hmm. and you have it, and you're willing to let it go because of the fact that y'all have two different houses, you don't want to sell it?
Yeah.
Especially especially where the housing market is right now, you can make money.
Yeah, you gotta let that go because when you gone, somebody else gonna be in that house.
Someone's gonna be there. What you gonna say?
Maybe your kids, or maybe your kids ain't gonna keep it. Ain't nobody.
Your kids might mess around and sell it or destroy it.
They don't want to come. When my mama passed away, I didn't want to go in her house anymore.
It wasn't the same.
No, I ain't want to go by it. I ain't want to look in it. The last time I went in there and cleared stuff out, I was ready. I was done with it. So I wanted to sell it.
The house has served its purpose.
Yeah. So it's not like your kids ain't obligated to keep your house because you trying to hold on to this idea of what it's supposed to be like. Your legacy. Your legacy is grounded in love. That's where your true legacy is. Your family is bigger than this house. Your legacy is bigger than this house. Yep. And I always look at the ministry of relationships, man. That's what I care about, the growth that you can get, the closeness that you can have when it comes to like spiritual nature and spirituality and learning.
Learning, yeah.
And adjusting to life as it is and not, dealing with that fantasy that a lot of us have when we're alone. Of
That's
what
true.
Life is.
True. And one thing about relationships, man, that if you have a good relationship, it's going to teach you is patience.
Patience, forgiveness,
and forgiveness.
The biggest tool ever known to man.
It's forgiveness. And you know what? And that thing right there, forgiveness, is free. Anybody can do it, but why is it the hardest thing for people to do?
Because they don't want to lose themselves. They don't want to feel like they're getting shitted on.
They don't want to let go.
Yeah. Of who? Of what?
Of the situation, of the trauma, wherever it may be, but they don't want to let go.
And it could be a trigger. Sometimes you have to identify with of triggers.
That's very true, based upon trauma.
Yeah.
Trauma.
A lot of people have triggers that they don't talk about. I know I have them. And I know I'm not always right.
I do too. I know that, but that's you being aware of yourself.
And you have to go, even if you think you were completely right, you have to be willing to go to your wife or your husband and say, you know what? For what I said and what I did.
Oh, how I said it. Oh, how I said it.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You know what? That word, them two words, I'm sorry, goes a long way. But you know what? I realize.
I want you.
It says that I'm willing to accept accountability for my part.
Yes.
How many people have a hard time accepting accountability for what they do in a relationship, men and women? How many people?
Hit a dozen of them.
Think about it. How many people are willing to even say, my bad? I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah. Think about it. Don't y'all know? Think about it. How many situations could have been diffused? I want y'all to and leave a comment. And I want y'all to comment on this. This is a very important question I'm going to ask.
I'm loading this to the
How many times situations that you was in as far as relationships could have easily been diffused by just saying, I'm sorry. Yes. My bad. I take my part.
Showing being intimate. Saying, hey, I'm sorry, kiss, hug.
Kiss and hug and move forward and not hold on to it.
Yeah, I love you. I'm done with that.
The recovery, man, people say that the communication part is probably the most important part as far as conveying how you feel. But I think the recovery is just as important.
Yes.
The part of being able to move forward. Because we have a conversation all day. We was able to express and lay on the line the things that we feel and our concerns. But we ain't able to move forward then, man. That's a problem. I'm saying that.
That's the biggest thing about being I know a lot of people apply their career to their relationships, and it's weird to me sometimes. But one thing you can take away from being a professional, it's not about it's not just about the knowledge you have of whatever task or job title or career choice that you have. It's about fixing things. Yep. It's about the troubleshooting. That's the biggest part of any profession. When I mess up, can I fix it?
Or if the system go down, can we fix it? So we keep this thing what?
Can we keep going? Yeah.
And that's the thing. Are you willing? And that's the question of the day. Are people willing to do whatever is necessary to make sure you will maintain your relationship? Or are you willing to do whatever it is to maintain, quote unquote, yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's two different questions too.
Yourself, you might well be single.
And that's what it goes back to. It's a form of selfishness.
Yeah.
You have to be selfish with your self-care to a degree, but it can't be selfish to the point where you're hurting others in order to maintain your quote-unquote self. If you're hurting people in order for you to maintain this idea of what you want yourself to be, then that is a problem. Yeah. Growth should not happen based upon you hurting others.
Right. And that's what I had to learn about being honest, because I pride myself in my honesty. But I don't walk around like I used to, like I'll never lie. I don't lie to nobody. Everybody tells a little fib. But the thing about honesty is you have to do it to a point to where you can make adjustments on how you relay what you're trying to say and how you feel and what you think about things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Instead of you know, sometimes people think that honesty is always brutal. It doesn't have to be brutal.
It don't have to be brutal. It's about your approach.
Yeah, you practice enough, you can achieve doing so with kindness.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I can be honest and not hurt you.
What they say, what's the saying? You attract more bees with what?
Honey.
Then you do with what?
Honey.
Then you do with vinegar or salt, however you want to put it. But the whole point is the sweetness is what's going to get out of it. I can still speak my truth and not have to be brutally and to be brutal or to tear down your character. Yeah. Or I can just tell you what it is. I don't have to thank you. I don't have to attack you. Yeah. Thank you. I don't have to attack you. I don't have to attack your character in order for me to convey what I need to convey to you.
Yeah.
Or for me to grow with myself. Yeah. Like you said, work on yourself. Like you said, change happen within. I don't have to change myself, in order for me to change myself to hurt you in the process. If I'm doing it, that's not right. Think about, I don't care who you are, what culture you come from, what deity you pray to. I've never seen from any multiple cultures I've reviewed and studied that it tells you in order for you to grow and be the best version of yourself, you have to hurt others in order for you to achieve it.
Right. All right. We know of one culture that feel like that, and they catching hell right now. They catching hell. They don't even see it coming. But we have to, when you thinking about, when you're in a relationship, when you're involved with somebody, like going back to what I said about listening with your mouth and not your ears, you have to hear people out. And you also have to hold yourself accountable. Stop waiting on them to address things. You know what I mean? A lot of people wait for people to address things for them, and they don't want to take the initiative to say, hey, are we good? I want to know, I want to make sure that we're good. I want to make sure you understood where I was coming from when I said what I said to you.
Why do you think people don't do that?
Pride.
I want to say vulnerability.
Oh, yeah. That's attached to pride. That's pride's cousin. You don't want to be vulnerable. You know, that pride protects you from being vulnerable. That Absolutely. Ego protects you from being vulnerable.
Absolutely.
You don't want transparency because you'll feel naked.
You'll feel naked, and that may expose "quote unquote" you.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Because I want to continue to be who I am because I don't want to put in the work.
But doesn't it feel good? Like thinking about, you familiar that Will Smith dropped the book, right?
The book, I forgot the name of the book.
Will.
Yeah, I seen it.
and it's so honest. He's been getting a lot of criticism for how honest he was in the book, and people don't understand that weight that it has on you when you're holding on to so many different things, so many different experiences that you can't tell nobody. You don't want to expose yourself to your loved ones or your friends or to the world.
You got to.
You got to let it go.
You gotta
let it go.
You gotta free yourself from it. It's just like a pressure cooker. Think about a pressure cooker, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you I don't know if anybody is. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen people use a pressure cooker or probably
they use Instapots now, cause
Instapots. But the point is, that pressure, you gotta release it.
Yeah.
If you're not releasing it, then a lot of things can happen with a pressure cooker. If you don't have that pressure cooker on right and that pressure that's being built up the way it's been designed, it's gonna explode.
Yeah.
Right?
I can tell you from my own experiences that when I don't say things, when I leave the house, when I don't address things when I'm at work, when I don't tell somebody how I feel about how they said things to me, and I take that closed mouth that I had and I go home and I lay it out on my children or family members,
or even on yourself, because you'll constantly think about it, because you didn't speak your truth. Yeah. That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, and you go home heavy because of that.
And go ahead, continue.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
And I've learned that the best way of doing it, for you to have peace with yourself, is by you releasing it and being firm on your truth, regardless if it's right or wrong. Be firm on your truth. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, all you're gonna do is sit there, think about it, and like you said, you're gonna take it out on others, and it don't do you no good. It's no health benefits by you suppressing of what you feel and you not doing that. That's why at this point, man, I have more peace of mind regardless of how I may feel, and me speaking how I feel. Now, I can address and correct myself if I was wrong about the way I addressed it, but I'm not apologizing about me speaking my truth.
Yeah. If it, now that's for the listener. Like, if it's something that I said that rubs you the right way, it's your turn. Tell me that it hurt you, or you understood something a certain way, so I can address it where I didn't mean it that way.
That's very true.
I wasn't trying to come at you that way. If I offended you, that's not what I was trying to do. You know what I mean?
That was not my intention.
Yeah.
But I apologize for me coming out that way. However, I still feel firm. I still stay firm on what I was trying to convey to you.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And if people can't accept you being truthful, then that's a problem. That means they don't want nothing real. They want a lie. They want an illusion.
And I do have one preset about marriage. And that one thing is that you have to be completely naked. You have to be naked.
I think with marriages, especially me being married, communication, man. You gotta communicate. So I guess that's a form of nakedness. Then you have to be able to communicate, and you have to be able to feel comfortable talking to each other.
Yeah.
You have to be comfortable. If y'all not comfortable talking to each other, it's not going to work. It's going to fall. Everything, whatever it may be. But you gotta communicate, dog. That's the point. You gotta communicate. I gotta talk. Like you said, if I say something wrong, tell me. I can't fix myself if I don't know there's an error in what I'm doing.
Right.
And you got a lot of people that feel like shutting their mouth is what resolves and help a relationship to be maintained or to grow, and it doesn't. It cripples it.
That's one of the issues in abusive relationships. I'm not down for all the different things they attach abuse to. Somebody told me one time they was financially abused in their marriage, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Break that down.
Yeah.
What did they say?
What did you create?
I'm curious. Can you elaborate on that for a second?
They controlled the money. I was like, did you not have your own money? No, they had all the money and they controlled the cars. I'm like, you grown. That's not abuse.
So just to make sure I have a clear understanding what you're saying. So they did not have the income, but one person was, I guess, the primary income provider, right? And so the other person was not. But because they wasn't involved in the other person's finances, they felt like they was financially abused. Yeah. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Abuse to it.
That's not abuse. That's an excuse. That's you want control.
And again, going back to that point, that's how people get sucked into abusive relationships because of that closed mouth. Like, you got to communicate what bothers you and what negativity you don't want in your relationship, or if it hurts you, you got to say that. And if that continues, you know what I mean, after you say it, then we got a problem.
Can I ask you a question? You know, I like to go both. I like to kind of look at it from different angles. So the sister, or the woman that said that she felt like it was she was financially abused, right?
Yeah,
Her excuse, that was her excuse based upon for what it sounded like, because she didn't have control of the finances, right?
She wasn't allowed.
She wasn't allowed, or she didn't have a say so. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, but she gave up her power in that.
But regardless of that was her excuse, right?
Yeah.
So would that be a form of manipulation, of you trying to gain control of someone else's finances?
Oh, we see it all the time with
Is that, I'm saying, is that a form of manipulation?
Yeah, we see it all the time with wealthy people. They use their money to control their spouses.
You've seen that since the beginning of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Celebrities do it now.
Yeah.
They ain't never changed.
You have to open your mouth. Say, hey, I'm not standing for this. I have a voice. You know what I mean?
And regardless if it doesn't work or not, you stood on your truth, and you got to be able to live with that.
And even if you are the leader of the house, that don't mean that your wife can't speak. That don't mean that she don't have an opinion about things.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. I said this, and I've told my wife this, and I've said this before. I don't want a robot.
Yeah.
No, my wife is not a robot. You know, she's very firm and comfortable with who she is. But the point I'm making is, I don't want a robot. I need you to talk to me. I need to know who you are, what you feel, and what is going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to control you. I want you to be who you are, but at the same time, are we able to do this based upon a natural chemistry? I don't want it to be forced. I don't want it to be where it was a task for you to do that. Because so all you're going to do is revert back to what you was doing originally. Eventually, excuse me. It's going to happen. That's why I said earlier when we were early in the podcast that people change ain't going to happen unless people see it within themselves, not because you tell them to.
That's why we got so many people in their 40s and 50s who live in their 20s because they were stuck in. They allowed themselves to get stuck in relationships when they were young, and they didn't have. They were voiceless, and they didn't. They were in uncompromising relationships. So when they get older. When the whole world, I don't want to say it like it's just my thought, when the whole world feels like it should be like a lot more maturity in those ages, 40s, 50s, and 60s. But you out here wilding out because you got stuck in some stuff that didn't allow you to be you.
That's why I have a hard time watching some of these shows, man, where I'm seeing these 40 or 50-year-old women and men acting like kids.
Yeah. Children. Yeah.
But that plays an influence of the people's character that's being exhibited in relationships. Because they see that they do it, then I can do it.
Well, you got to make up for lifetime. Like kids that lose their childhoods and they become adults. They wild out for a good bit. They wild out for a good bit because they weren't able to, like, somebody like, take Michael Jackson. He didn't have a childhood, so he bought, amusement park to live on.
He created a fantasy in which that he wasn't able to have.
That was that child.
That child, yeah. And I don't think that was
And I'm gonna say this. I don't think it was a bad thing he did that. Mm-mm. But that just came with it.
But you ain't gonna get no grown woman living in no amusement park.
Shit. The ride, shit, I don't know why. Hell, most of the ride, I ain't gonna say some of the ride that these women be taking people on, they might well be a goddamn.
Ain't no sister. He had to go get him a white woman. Ain't no sister go live with no monkey in there.
You don't think they can't live with Bubbles?
No, man, you can't be. No
man, Bubbles is trained though.
No, you can't be no Bubbles and us.
It's goddamn Michael Jackson. Shit, Michael Jackson make anything happen at the time he was alive. I seen everybody pass out his concerts.
That was a lot.
You remember them concerts? Everybody laid out, boy. Like, look, laid out.
My mother always told me about the time she went to a concert. She couldn't afford a ticket, but it was a gate on the outside of the stadium, and they all stood there and just stared. They further than the nosebleeds. But they still had him in sight, the stage in sight.
They still was able to participate in the event.
And I'm like, so y'all stood out there for 2 hours at the fence and stared at Michael perform?
You know why? It wasn't because it was the energy, brother.
He's the second most famous person in world history. You know how famous you got to be? You know who the first one was?
Who?
Jesus.
Yeah, sure.
He's second to Jesus.
Yeah, sure.
That means there ain't nowhere you can go on this earth that people don't know Michael Jackson. You know how good it feel to walk around in Walmart and get your milk and don't nobody have to recognize who you are. You just trying to get your milk so you can go back and eat your cereal.
No matter where he go, he was always going to be spotted.
Always. He used to try to disguise himself and go in the mall. He was so visible, he was so recognizable that even with in hat, glasses, and a mask, people knew it was him.
It's the aura, brother. It's the aura, man. It's the aura, man.
They knew how he walked.
They knew how he walked.
They knew his hair.
Because that means he's
something.
But how? Because they study him.
Yeah.
So thank you for saying that. So guys, study your people who you with. Study who you with. Study them. Learn them.
You can pick your wife out in the crowd.
Could I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know her.
How did you first know? Just change it up a little bit. How did you know you were in love with your wife? When did you know? Do you remember when you started figuring that out?
I remember the exact moment.
Really?
I remember the exact moment when I fell in love with my wife.
Oh, this is going to be good. Hold on, let me get my cigar.
So, the exact moment when I fell in love with my wife was when I had a health complication I was dealing with.
And she had AIDS or something?
Nah, I had no AIDS. I was just my blood pressure was high, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my blood pressure was high at the time. And that was the first time it ever gotten high in my entire life. Yeah, it was my first time ever. So, I didn't know what the heck was going on. I'm going to doctors, etc. And, at first I wasn't telling her, but I ended up telling my wife that, hey, these are things at the time, my girlfriend, are the things I'm going through and what I'm experiencing. And the concern that she showed and the part that she played in trying to help me to handle and resolve that issue showed that, man, this girl really loved me. Because that was one of the lowest points in my life, and she could have walked away, but she was there, and she was in the battle with me. And she was researching and finding different ways to handle the situation, got other health experts involved. My wife's father is a big health guru. Where he's from, he's considered a Rofe, which is a doctor. He's a holistic doctor, and she got him involved as well as others to see what things I can do to do that. And that showed, like, damn, this girl really do love me.
You don't have to tell me what some of those remedies.
Yeah, absolutely. But she showed me that I'm like, damn, this girl really loved me. This girl really cared about me. And at that moment, man, when that happened and when I got past that, man, I fell in love with her deep, man. Yeah, I did, man. And fast forward now, here we are. We here. That's my wife. And, I don't want to experience this life journey without her.
She got a sister?
Yeah.
Tell her sister I love her.
I can tell her that, but she's involved.
Oh, I'm a good side dude, man.
Oh, man, you true.
That's how I walk myself. I take my own baths. I feed myself.
So you good to go. So
yeah, I'm housebroken.
You stupid. but everybody got to find that why.
I don't want my girl to ever hear that part right there. Can we edit that part out?
What part?
I just asked you about your wife's sister.
Oh,
so my girl don't hear it. She beats me.
It's all shits and giggles, guys.
I just wanted to come on air and make sure everybody understood that my girl beat me. And
she beat you?
Yes.
You're a big guy, so she must be hitting you heavy.
Yeah. I'm abused.
You abused?
Yeah.
Are you financially abused?
Yeah, I probably will be.
But yeah, man, that's when I knew. So, I mean, you just have to make sure that whoever you're dealing with, man, they're there for you, man. They're going to ride for you, man.
Yeah.
They're going to ride for you. Because you don't want to go through life when you having to deal with things and tough times in your life and you're going through it alone. You have someone there that's supposed to be in that corner with you, man.
That's the thing about some of the guys that's doing some of the things I was doing when I was younger. Like when you around here flashing money and you ride a high life real hard, and you think all the women that you come encounter with, they really like you, and they don't.
Right,
they don't like you.
They like what you able to do, but not who you are.
They like the money. They friends of the money. They not friends to you. Yeah. They don't love you. They love the money.
They love what you able to do for them.
Yeah, they love that. Once that is gone, they gone.
Because there was no true foundation.
They following the money.
There was no true foundation.
Like you can't. If it don't matter how well off you are or how comfortable you are. You always have to think, like, if I didn't have any of this, and you got to have a real conversation with whoever you're seeking, guys, that they're going to be there when you don't have, if you don't have it. If you with somebody that's not going to be there when you don't have that, They don't deserve to be there when you do.
They do not deserve.
They should not be there when you do.
They do not need to be at the table.
Because they not going to be able to help you maintain what you got.
They
just there to spend it.
They're going to take away from it.
Yeah.
They're going to help demolish it.
That's another bill.
An expensive bill.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hard way to recover. They take everything you got.
Yeah, if I got to constantly entertain you, I got to always take you out. We got to always be on the trip. We always got to be in the most popping cars, and we got to have the best house ever. We got to always be linked in like designer clothes or something like that. If we can't go to Target together, if we can't shop at Food Depot, you know what I mean? If we can't ride the bus together, why are you here? It's nice that we can afford these things at the moment, but it's also like if we watch Mike Tyson lose $250 million. It ain't nothing you got that can't be lost.
Easily.
Yeah.
Especially with love.
I lost $150,000 a year in 3 months. Yeah. The whole thing was gone. It was shattered. It's nothing you can do. It shouldn't be about what you got. It should always be about each other.
It should always be about each other because the one thing, and it's funny you said that because things could change, man. Your circumstance could change. You could be a person that may have it, and you may lose it based upon your job laying you off, or because you may have a medical condition that requires you to use all of the funds and your all that you have, your resources, and But at the end of the day, that person need to be with you for you. That's the one thing that should never change is if you with me for me, then no matter what environment changes around us, things may get hard, things may get tough, but as long as I remain and be the same person who you fell in love with.
You don't never want to be that man on the boat. That man that somebody, the woman you chose, and even for the women, the men that you chose are watching you sink. And they don't even throw you a lifeguard, a life jacket.
That's your ass.
You know what I mean? They don't even throw you a surface.
They're going to watch you.
Yeah, they're going to watch you drown. If you're in a situation like that, that's not the woman you're supposed to be with. That's not the man you're supposed to be with.
Because I've seen women, not heard women say this, and not even women, but I heard some men too, but I've heard people say this. So I use the word people, I be general. That they seen things demolish a relationship and they already plan an exit plan versus trying to help to prepare.
Right. I hear a lot of women do that.
Woo! And the sad thing about it is when that happens, the other person never know. Yeah. They're still trying to fight to preserve while the other person is now planning an exit. Yeah. And that is
and that's dangerous for men like me because I've always I'm manning the ship. If the ship go down, I'm going with it.
And I need you to be with me.
Yeah.
If you ride with me.
Yeah. Ride with me. Hey, we going to find out something. We going to make a raft.
We going to make a raft. God dang it, even if that raft may consist of you, at least we're together on it. Mm-hmm. I still took care of you to the end. You dig what I'm saying? But what's demoralizing for any relationship, and I think both men and women can relate, is that when one person is doing everything they can and they're fighting while the other person is trying to leave.
Yeah. Watching that sink. You just watching the sink. You losing the house. You losing the cars.
You losing your family.
Yeah, you losing everything. You losing everything that matters to you in a relationship. If somebody is okay with you losing it, that's not love, man. That's not love. If you're okay with walking away from your family, everything that you created, all the good days and the bad days and all the stuff you done been through to maintain your relationship. If they're willing to walk away from that, if they mention, hey, man, hey.
It's a problem.
No, we in this together. We gonna fix it. It ain't nothing on this earth. This is why I like listening to old people, talking to old people.
Mm-hmm. A lot of wisdom.
A lot of problems that they have with the younger generation is this microwave sensation that we got going on. Everything got to be fast and quick. And if it don't work out, we'll pop something else in the microwave.
It's a term for that. What's the term called? Instant gratification.
Yeah. Like, no, you got to say, if it's broke, fix it. Don't replace it. You ain't got to replace everything. If it's not working out with her, fix that.
Fix it. Work on it. Do
Yeah.
your part. Do your part. Now,
do what
if
you
you've
gotta
done your
do.
part and you exhausted all options to maintain or try to preserve or maintain it, and it doesn't work, then the blood is off your hands. But you tried.
Yeah.
Versus you running.
I ain't never seen nobody that kept trying to fail. I mean, you got a dude in the Bible that tried for 13 years. She was everything. She was a hoe. She was a prostitute. She was a cheater. She was everything. This dude stuck it out. Stuck it out. Who you choose, you can make anything work that you want to make
If
work.
you choose to, but
If you choose to.
if you,
You don't
choose
have to.
You don't have to. No, we ain't telling you, Dave. You get cheated on and you stay and you make it work. I ain't saying that because I'm not gonna ever say that. No, I'm never gonna say that.
I would. You know what? I would stay.
That's congratulations.
I would stay.
Congratulations.
I'll probably kill the dude that she cheated on me with.
I'm just gonna tell you at the end of the day, brother.
probably
that's
stab
something-
him
I ain't
twice.
gonna do none of that. Boy, I'm gonna
Is
do
that
it.
bad? Like,
That's
can you
very
go to jail
bad.
if you stab him
Yeah,
twice?
absolutely, man.
I thought it was 3 times.
You can't do
That's
that.
capital murder.
And you can't do it, man. Just walk away.
Stab him twice.
Just walk away.
Okay, fine.
You know why? You know why? Because it's how many billion people on this earth?
7.5.
Okay. So why would you risk your life and ruin your life for one?
I'm just saying, like, stab him in the foot or something.
Don't stab him. Let him be. Everything will take care of itself. That's not your
Not
job.
in the foot, dog.
That's not your job.
He'll never wear no damn Air Forces again.
You probably won't. But don't. But let things handle itself.
That's fine. I'll listen to you on that.
That's just come with growth.
I'm still gonna keep my.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
switchblade,
That still come with growth, and I'm still learning from that to this day. You did.
though. Yeah, and that's the evolution of life, man. We gotta you're constantly growing, you're constantly learning, you're constantly becoming more of what I say, what God wants you to be, what His purpose for you was. You're getting closer to that every day.
If you're working on yourself,
And if you stop, whenever you stop, that's the further you get away from that. You take away everything. Every time you stop learning, it's like you taking a step. Everything you went through to get to what you learned and your experiences and what everything brought you to, when you choose to stop, when you start having that retaliation mind, or that mind that I got to constantly defend my fort, you're taking away from everything you went through to get to this point. You're saying you're taking steps backwards.
and not even that. So I'm glad you said that. So when people are doing that, are you putting yourself back in a situation in which your trauma comes from in some form, some way? Are you now not when you start to display a behavior where you're not willing to do the things that you need to in order to maintain a relationship because of your past experiences, right? Mm-hmm. Are you now becoming not the person that's being afflicted, but the afflictor?
Right. You could be. Could be. I believe that.
I believe a lot of people do that and they don't know that. A lot of people sabotage relationships because now all of a sudden they went from being the victim to not being the afflictor.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be in that position that I was previously when I met you and these things happen to me. Now I'm going to make sure I maintain my protection of my peace and who I am. If that means it hurts you in the process, so be it, because I don't want to ever be the victim. I'd rather be the afflictor. Think about that.
And what they were saying, I heard somebody talk about the walls that castles and forts used to build around their kingdom. You start building them so high, and so high that they start feeling like prisons. Yeah, not only can they not get in, you can't get out.
It does something to your psyche.
Yeah, yeah. You're in constant protection mode. You're always protecting yourself.
That's deep.
And you can't walk away. That's not living. That's like living a life that's strictly based on survival.
Ooh, and you can't do that.
No, you forgetting to live.
You can't, because that means you're not free.
No, you're not. You're a captive.
And you put yourself in there.
Yeah,
That's deep.
yeah.
That's deep.
Because I gotta always defend myself from being treated like somebody else treated me, or some experience had me feeling.
Or just why I am who I am.
Yeah. All that was meant for growth. That's why it was allowed to happen in your life. Mm-hmm. All that stuff meant to make you better.
Make you better.
Grow.
Learn.
Yeah. That's what it was for. You're unique.
Yep.
You're unique. Mm-hmm. If you've been to prison, if you don't been shot, you don't been stabbed, you don't lost jobs, you don't lost your family before, that's going to make you appreciate the next job, the next family that you have an opportunity to build.
That's right. If you have the right perspective, if you got the right mind.
That tells you, no, if I let this conversation get volatile, I know when to walk away now.
I know to remove myself.
Yeah, I know how to manage myself when I see it going a different way that I know is not productive to the life that I want.
Facts.
I don't have to fight you to prove that I'm a man.
Right, I am. I stand firm who I am because I know who I am. I am who I am.
I can walk away with that.
Yep, and live with it.
Yeah, I can walk away with that.
You know
Yeah,
what?
in front of everybody else. Yeah. You got me. You feel like you made a point and you made your statement. But no, I get to go home to my family. I get to be a brother. I get to be a cousin. I get to be an uncle. I get to be a father. I get to be a husband. Another day. Because I didn't engage in your foolishness. Because I know something that you don't know. Because I had these experiences before. I know that I don't have to engage in this because I know the outcome.
I see that I already been through this. I already read this book. I know the story how it ends.
Yeah. We don't need to keep repeating that.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to go through all them chapters.
But you do to keep repeating things if you don't learn the first time around. Just like in relationships. You walked away. You cheated. You wasn't around for your kid. You wasn't a good son. You wasn't a good husband. If you keep contributing that to the things that you care about, you're going to keep having the same experience. You're going to be bitter all the time.
Bitter all the freaking
You're going to be
time.
mad all the time. These hoes ain't shit.
And guess what? And then now at that point, think about it now. Now you're chanting that.
Yeah.
You're chanting that. Isn't there a good book that says there's power in the words of the what?
Tongue.
So that means now at this point you have created this narrative of what you view is, and now because that's what you think you feel, now you're going to attract it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
deep, man.
the basic laws of attraction.
That's deep.
If you believe it, it's going to be.
It's going to be.
Every woman you deal with going to treat you like shit.
Because you know what, and you know sometimes how that can happen. It ain't because so much you may attract. It's because you may exhibit the behavior to cause that to happen. Like you said, by you not working on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
This thing is deep, y'all. It's deep, but it's simple. And like the main message that we've been stating throughout this podcast, it starts with you, yourself.
Yeah. It starts with you, guys. It starts with you. You got to know. Yeah, just like that song I love. It's a country song, The Gambler. I feel like every man need to know that song. Hey, know when to fold, know when to hold 'em.
You talking about Kenny?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
it's talking about Kenny Rogers.
Yes, you got to know when to hold 'em.
When and what?
Fold 'em, know when to hold 'em.
Hey,
You got to know.
Kenny Rogers.
Stick around.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Stick
man.
around.
Yeah.
And that's I feel like this was a good show today, man. I feel like we ending on a good point right here, guys. Let us know what y'all think. This one's definitely going on the YouTube channel. I want y'all to comment, like, share, subscribe, and we gonna kick off. We going into 2022, man.
2022, man, and that's another blessing.
I
guys.
did not think I was gonna see that.
We here though, and that's a blessing. And
Yeah.
that means that as long as you still here, that means you have a purpose and you still have a chance of doing whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah. So it's been real, guys. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. These are our 2 cents. Spend them, save them. Make sure you go to the Facebook page, the Instagram, like, share, subscribe, get on all the platforms, and let's run these numbers up, guys. Let's get it. Let's get it. Cut Different, hashtag Cut Different on all streaming platforms and all social media platforms. This has been your boy G and Ty.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
Freaky Ty from the Lost Boys. He ain't dead, y'all. He ain't dead.
Man.
We resurrected him.
Be safe.
I'm going to call Mr. Cheeks.
Nah, man. But nah, be safe, guys. Be safe, man. Enjoy your families and just be in a spirit of gratitude.
Yeah, man. With everything that we've experienced in the last couple of years, man, life is precious.
Very
Life is precious. And you take this with you, man. Take this into the conversations that you have in the bars and the barbershops, in your houses, with your sons, with your cousins, with your girl. She can listen too. She can listen too. This is about men becoming what we're lacking. You know, I have so many thoughts about it. I was trying to find the right word.
You're trying to find the word, right? I felt you. I
But
see where you was
we're
going.
lacking in our communities, in our houses, and you know what I mean,
And
our
even with
families,
ourselves.
and ourselves. You know what I mean? Don't worry about what you lost. It's about what you got. What you got. Focus on that. Focus on that, and we'll all be better people because of it. So we out of here, y'all. Anything you want to say, Ty?
Nah, man, that's it. Just everybody be safe, man, and one love.
I still hate your shirt.
That's fine. It's mine. What you think about it?
That was good, man. We covered a lot of things.
And that's perfect. I think you do. That's why I want I feel like we got here, King.